Hey guys, this is Chauncey from Session Stories, and today I'm joined by Cactus for breakfast. They're a Berlin-based band bringing a super cool mix of garage rock, surf vibes, and indie psych to the table. They've been carving up their space in the indie scene with vibrant songs and killer live shows, and we're so happy to have them on the show today. So welcome, guys.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. So I'm definitely loving like the surf-inspired garage psych sound that you guys have. And I was listening to all of your singles. It definitely is this cool mix of kind of like the B-52s, also the Talking Heads. I got a little bit of the Doors in there as well. So I wanted to ask, like, who are some of your like biggest musical inspirations?
I think it's different for all of us. Maybe Shane, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. I've never heard B-52s before as a comparison point, but that's pretty fun. But yeah, my mom would be happy to know about that one. She's a big fan. Yeah, I don't know. I think Robin's right. We all come at from different angles and different inspiration pools. For myself, I'm really into sort of a lot of older stuff, a lot of stuff from the 60s. I think I'm the Beatles nerd of the group as well. I think I have the most encyclopedic knowledge of them out of anyone. That's not to say I'm the biggest fan, you know. I'm not gonna fight anyone on that. Thomas does have the Beatle bass, so he's got me beat there. I think when the project was first sort of forming and it was Robin, Thomas, and I starting to play together, I think I kind of was really into instrumental 60s surf at the time, and I was like, oh, we could kind of come at it from this angle. And I think Robin is more into like sort of modern surf. Maybe you can go into what you're into, Robin.
Sure. Yeah, I think, or like exactly like Shane said, more modern surf. I wasn't too much into like the 60s, 70s surf stuff. Also like 60s, 70s stuff like the Doors, like you said. But I'm definitely not into modern surf alternative bands from US or Australia, mostly actually. I think that comes a lot of influence from my side, from that area.
I'm also surprised you didn't mention the Beach Boys at all, Shane, since you're kind of into maybe that style of music. I thought maybe you would say something about the Beach Boys, but the Beatles also, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the Beach Boys, but I always argue that they were an unsuccessful surf band that turned into a very successful pop band. I think they tried to ride the wave of surf music in the 60s, but they turned out to be way better at creating beautiful vocal-driven music. And so that's the lane they went into.
Yeah. So your music definitely has this like real nostalgic energy to it. So if you could go back to any music era and play a show, which era would you pick and why?
Great question. I don't know. Let's get one of the other guys to answer. They've been quiet.
For me, like I grew up with a lot of funky stuff, so maybe that's also built the way I play the bass, like how I bring like some kind of grooviness into the bass line, into this band. And if I could go back in time, like I would go back playing with Nile Rodgers back in the day, play with James Brown, so something like that. And in modern times, like I love to listen to like Parcels, things like that. That's kind of how different we are as a band. Like we are listening to different kind of stuff, so we try to mix it up together in this band.
You even saw Parcel's bassist, I think, right? You said.
Yeah, we met them when they were in Berlin. I think 1 month ago. I think I once met the drummer when I went to the coffee shop near my place. I lived in Kreuzberg, by the way.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm a big fan of them.
So for someone who's never heard your music before, what's a song, like one song of yours that you would recommend in order for them to kind of get a sense of like the band and your sound, but you can only choose one of your songs?
Ooh, that's tough.
Okay, maybe two, but...
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, guys?
We just released a new song. I think it's kind of, it has a lot of elements that are kind of representative of what we do. So like Strangers for Tonight is surfy, but it's also a little psychedelic. We like to add different like vocal layerings and backing vocals and stuff. I think it has a lot of elements that we have as a band, I would say. If I would have to pick one, I think it might be this one. I don't know what you guys...
I actually go with Take Me Where You Go, because it kind of feels like goes into the same curve as you were saying. It has like the fusion between the still the surfy parts and the more like a bit more out there psychedelic sections. So to me it actually was when I joined your band, I was listening to the first EP and then I like Take Me. It actually felt super like that, just a basic fusion of those two lanes, I guess.
Yeah, I think those are good choices.
Yeah, teamwork. And then, so if you guys were headlining your dream festival, could be any festival, who would be like on the lineup with you guys, like your dream lineup?
Oh, damn, tough questions.
Maybe King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and just throw anyone.
I got a poster of them.
Oh, yes.
King Gizzard, I think, for sure.
Rihanna is on like acid. I mean, not acid speed. I've never seen a band release so many albums that are so good in such a short amount of time. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, we've been on a concert last year. It was one big mosh pit, like the whole standstill. It was crazy.
I went to see Ammo and the Sniffers last year, and it was also one of the most intense concerts I've been to in a very long time. Yeah.
Didn't they play in Colombia, right?
I think they're playing again soon in a few. Oh, you mean last year where they played?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it was a lot.
I think playing with in a lineup with King Gizzard would be just super cool. But I don't know. I feel like they're just so. Wouldn't know what to say. I'd be like, "Oh, hello." We make less music. We make worse music, but we appreciate what you do.
No, you can't sell yourself short. But this is like lineup, so it can be anyone.
The nude party as well, and there's like an American, a bit country influence. I really love.
Oh yeah.
With them, they're really cool.
Yeah, I think like if we could play in a lineup also with it's a different lane, but with Big Thief. I really love Big Thief and always just appreciate how beautiful their music is. It's amazing.
What about you, Thomas? Any dream people you'd like to have in the lineup?
I don't know. Lately, I've been listening to Pitch Pit.
Nice. And so I know there's like quite a few of you in the band. So when you're creating a new song, I'm just kind of curious about the creative process. So do you typically maybe begin with a jam session and then build around that? Or do you start with the lyrics first and then construct the sound around the lyrics? Or how do you guys come together creatively when you're, making a new song?
It always depends as well, I think. Shane, do you want to elaborate on that?
I think it's kind of a little different for each song. Sometimes Robin will just fully construct a song. He'll just have an idea, and then I'm not exactly sure the process he goes through, but basically he'll send us a demo that he'll make, and it's like, this is the song, and we're like, oh, that's easy. We just have to learn a song. But then sometimes it'll be a different process. If I'm writing a song, for instance, I feel like I always start with music first. Lyrics come a lot slower for me personally. And usually it's like one central idea, like I'll have a riff idea and I'll be like, I don't know what to do with this. And I'll bring it to the guys and we'll play on it at a rehearsal, sort of jam on it for a little bit. Maybe Robin will have like some lyric ideas. He'll add something to it and we'll just kind of expand on it. From there, that's one way it works. Sometimes Robin and I have had like writing sessions where he's got like part of an idea, I've got part of something, and we just lock them together. We do that with our feet sometimes as well, just to kind of relax. Yeah, we'll just kind of bring some ideas together. I don't know. I think Robin, you're better with coming up with lyrics first and then building music.
Yeah, for me,
right?
It's basically always different. Sometimes I have some, I don't know. When I was working in the other side of town in Berlin, I had a lot of time in the trains, and sometimes I was listening to music, just getting inspired. Then I just wrote some lyrics, and then at home, sometimes I used the lyrics to kind of create something from that. But oftentimes it's also just from a vibe of some songs I listen to or some bands I listen to, and then I have like some sort of feeling that I want to put into a song. But it always depends a little bit. Like Shane said, we also have like a few like jam sessions. Like recently we just came up like with some new songs in the jam sessions, which are really cool. That are maybe about to come next year. Let's see.
Very exciting. You guys formed in 2023, which is relatively recent. So what's been the most challenging part of navigating the independent music scene so far?
I think it's definitely finding concerts. Like we're doing all the booking on our own. I think last year we've sent out mails to festivals. I mean, we're still a small band, so I understand it that they want bigger acts, but I think we sent out like more than 300 mails to festivals. We got like 3 replies or 4 replies. So it's kind of frustrating, like the whole booking process. But this year it's going quite well, I think. Thomas designed a poster with our current shows or this year's shows. I think we have some nice shows lined up. So I think we're getting through that difficult stage bit by bit. And
did you find it hard to break into the indie scene in Berlin? I know there's always this like perception that Berlin is very kind of like techno, but did you guys find it difficult at all to break into the indie scene, or was it quite kind of like a easy transition?
I think because there is so much, dance music here and it's so DJ driven that if that didn't exist, maybe the band scene would be a bit bigger and a bit more, I don't know, exclusive somehow. But I think that our experience, also interacting with other bands in Berlin has always been like really positive, and it feels like we don't have any band enemies. It's always super collaborative, and people are always just like, oh yeah, we're gonna play a show here, do you want to play a show? Because I think it's kind of difficult because you're also competing as a band with all of the clubs and with all of like the DJs as well, that maybe the bands kind of pull together a bit more than in other scenes. But it's hard to say. I don't really know the landscape of other indie scenes. But I think the Berlin one is, it's really nice.
Yeah. And so I'd listen to all your music. I always like to listen to all the music before the interviews. And I'll say out of all the songs, Lonely Boy definitely has, it's an emotive piece. It definitely has a lot of emotion packed into it. So what was the story or inspiration behind that track?
It's actually nice that you found out the song. Like we think it's a bit different from the whole other stuff that we do, but we definitely like this to play the songs. It's kind of the backstory is a friend of mine. I've lost a friend of mine last year, and so it's kind of a bit of the song. It's not dedicated to him, but it was kind of an emotional process of writing the song and playing the song. Just the whole recording and like also playing it live is always like I always feel the emotion quite a lot. So it's just a very emotional song from that perspective.
Yeah. So I know you guys have been playing a lot of live shows lately. I've also seen a lot of it on your social media. So what's been the most miserable? Jesus, what's been the most memorable, not miserable? Can you imagine? What's been the most miserable gig you guys have done? What's been the most memorable gig for you so far? And what made it stand out?
Tommy, what do you think? Tommy's the vibing guy on the stage. He's always dancing that much. Which gig did you dance the most?
Okay. I think if the question is about memorable, like we once played in this motorcycle festival. And it was quite a bit random, honestly. But it was super fun because we played I think it's one of our first open air situation, playing in front of those motorcycle bikers, like big guy, like leather jackets. And then when we were doing the check sound, like everything happening all at once, like we do the check sound while like all the motorcycle are like together with the check sound, and then the fireworks happening at the same time. So it was a bit chaotic, and then but the night was amazing and it was beautiful. And I think it's also our first tour together, so it's definitely one of the most memorable show for me.
That's awesome.
The Zenith session was also, I think, very, very nice gig. Like the energy of the crowd was amazing. It was in this beautiful atrium space. Shout out to Manoj, who's organizing the Zenith sessions. It was a sick gig as well.
And so let's say you guys are going on a world trip tour. What's one album that would absolutely have to be on the van playlist? Or I guess it could be a few since there's more than one of you, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that I'm really bad at picking music in a way. I always have like an idea of like, oh, I love this song or this album. And then as soon as I put it on, I'm like, this does not fit the vibe though. This is going to annoy the shit out of everyone. So I don't know. I would have to consider my option long and hard, but I don't know. What about you guys? I would just be scared to play something that's just super annoying and it's going to drag the mood down in the car. Like, oh, I'm just going to put on my whole playlist of trucking music. It's going to make everyone happy.
What are you listening to now that you have on repeat?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been listening to Yellow Magic Orchestra a lot.
Okay.
It's a Japanese band. A lot of stuff in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. Check them out. They're a great band.
Anyone else? What do you want playing in the car if you're on a road trip together?
I'd actually go with it's a long album. It's kind of great to listen to. It like has a nice flow to it, so it's a good car record, I guess.
You said Genesis, right?
Yeah, Genesis, exactly.
Very nice.
I'm not sure how my bandmates feel about Genesis, but I'll tell you.
Find our next road trip we have.
Yeah.
What about you, Thomas? Some James Brown, something funky from the 70s?
Oh yeah, I would love to play that. I don't know what else. Actually, like Robin mentioned about the Nude Party before, but I think it's a really nice album to listen to when you were in the band. Down in the fan, like when I'm doing my course in the house, like I always listen to that as well. So it brings me motivation. So yeah, I would go with that.
What's next on the docket for you guys this year? Do you have more shows coming up, more music, an album?
Both of the first two. Album, hopefully maybe by the end of the year we can record something. We're still expecting some funding opportunities. Let's see if they confirm. But we definitely have 3 more singles to come, right? Like we recorded 7 singles last year in September. A recording ranch, a beautiful place in Brandenburg. Super random, like in a remote area, and we just recorded 5 days. We recorded 7 songs and we released 4 of them so far this year, and now there's 3 more to come. Also very, I think, diverse songs. The next one's a bit, I don't want to say too much, but a bit country cowboy-ish, and the one after is a bit more, I think, Thomas's vibe, a bit more funky-ish. Yeah, we have a lot of shows, I think. Yeah? I think one of the bigger weekend shows on the weekends is going to be first weekend of June, 6th, 7th, and 8th of June. We're going to play at Urban Spree. So it's going to be a cool show. So we hope it's going to be a cool show. And then the next day is Carnaval der Kultur. And then on the day after, on Sunday, we're playing like a small festival in the west of Germany, in Sauerland.
Cool. You guys are both been busy. Yeah, that's cool. I live right down the road from the Urban Spray place. Like that's in Ragalanda, right? Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Lives literally right down the street from my house, so we'll definitely come check you guys out. And I always like to ask this question, but what do you hope people take away when they listen to your music? Like, is it a certain feeling? Is it just a vibe, a message, maybe?
I don't know. It's difficult. I'd say I would like people to listen to it and just enjoy themselves. Not too much deeper than that. Myself, I think that the recorded music is one thing, but I think that I care more about how people feel when they hear us live, because live music is super special. I think that just getting up in front of people, especially we don't have anything pre-recorded or anything like that. We've just got our instruments and we're making music in front of you. And I think that's, it's always a special experience. It's something that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years throughout human history. The recorded music, that's new stuff. But, the thing that's like in our DNA is, listening to live music. And I think that just lifting people's mood with live music is super special.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely agree. Yesterday, like Thomas said, I was at a Beach Pit concert. They are my absolute idols now. They were so great, like in the whole live energy. And I think that's what we enjoy on stage as well, just how we connect with each other on stage, and that we get to do this is amazing, that people come to the concerts and dance and sing with us. It's super great. I think I would definitely go with what Shane said with that.
Yeah. So those were the main questions I have for you guys. With that being said, are there any final words that you would like to leave your fans or the listeners with?
Hit them, Thomas.
Wait, what? I'm the quietest one.
Yeah.
I never talk in any kind of situation, and you guys just throwing all of these questions to me. Yeah, I'd love people to have fun listening to our music, and we're having fun, like creating all of this. I would say like we are still in our early journey of our music as a band, so we're still figuring out, and we want to have fun and for appreciation from the listeners. But like if you can have fun listening to our music, that'd be amazing, because I don't know if I'm telling something nice or not, like you put
Perfect. What about you guys? Any other final words then for your fans or the listeners?
I would just agree with what Thomas said. So like, just follow us on our journey. We would really appreciate that. Like we said before, we really appreciate everyone just listening to our music, the feedback we get, and the feedback on like after concerts and during the concerts. Just so amazing. Like we really, really love it. And we want to do it maybe one day. We want to get to a point where we can do it full time, or at least more than part time. But yeah, we rely on the support, so we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. Can't wait to see what you guys release this year, and best of luck with all your shows and tours. I know you have a lot going on, but yeah, super exciting stuff in the mix.
Yeah. Thanks so much for asking us to do this. It was, a surprise for us that somebody would want to interview us for, so we're happy to join.